Hello, hello. I know I'm kind of excited about Jim Jones tonight. That's one that I actually don't mind. That sound on here, I actually don't mind it on StreamYard. That's actually pretty decent. All right. So tonight is Jim Jones. I know there's been a lot of people waiting for the Jim Jones reading, including myself. So as always, we will do the timeline. But this timeline's literally going to be up to where I'm pretty sure where, yeah, when he got started getting into church is where we're going to start probably the timeline at. There we go. Okay. So I got this off of the Washington Post archives. So it's a chronological. Here is a chronology of events in the life of Reverend Jim Jones, head of the People's Temple. So in 1953, Jim Jones, a 22-year-old unordained minister, opens a small interdenominational church in Indianapolis, selling monkeys to raise money for church. Okay, that sounds a bit odd, but okay. 1961, Jones, an advocate of civil rights, is named director of the Indianapolis Human Rights Commission. Then in 1961 to 63, Jones spends 2 years as a missionary in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. He pays a brief visit to Guyana. 1963, Jones returns to his Indianapolis church, now called the People's Temple Full Gospel Church, affiliated with the Disciples of Christ. Then in 1964, Jones is ordained as a Disciples of Christ minister. In 1965, Jones moves with about 100 followers to Redwood Valley, which is 100 miles north of San Francisco, claiming that the secluded area will be safe in the event of a nuclear war. 1966 to 69, Jones purchases a church and other properties. 1971, People's Temple purchases the Albert Pike Memorial Temple in San Francisco and a second church in Los Angeles. So now 2 churches. In 1973, a church party of 20 visits Guyana. 1974, Jones negotiates to lease with the Guyanese government covering 27,000 acres in the jungle. 1975, Jones becomes involved in San Francisco politics, winning the friendship of several major political figures for his support for their campaigns. 1976, Mayor George Moscone names Jones to the San Francisco Housing Authority, and Jones's lawyer, Tim Stone, is hired by District Attorney Joseph Freitas. 1977, articles critical of Jones, based on interviews with former People's Temple members, appear in New West magazine and in local newspapers. They charge that Jones has hoarded $5 million in property and cash and is beating members and taking advantage of the elderly, right? So 1977 is when they get physical documentation and proof. So Jones resigns from the housing authority by shortwave radio from Johnstown in Guyana. Johnstown in Guyana. Is it Johnstown or Jonestown? One of those. So in November 7th, 1978, Representative Jay Ryan, Democrat of California, announces he plans to visit Jonestown to investigate charges made by constituents. In November 13th, 1978, Ryan and his group visit Jonestown, are entertained and invited to stay overnight. The next day, while waiting for transport out of the area with a number of members who asked for help in leaving Jonestown, Ryan and 4 others are slain and a dozen others are injured in a barrage of gunfire. A short time later, some 400 People's Temple members commit suicide by drinking a blend of soft drink and cyanide. Right, this is what they call drinking the Kool-Aid, right? This is where they got this from. Jones's body was found with a bullet wound in the head. Wow. So Jones was found with a bullet wound in the head, but then 400 of his members commit suicide by drinking a blend of soft drink and cyanide. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so what do you guys think so far? So what do we really want to know from this ring? Do we want to know if there was any other motive behind what Jim Jones was doing, how he came to have a bullet wound in his head and be the cause of death, and he didn't die of cyanide poisoning along with his followers, right? So it's all real. Ooh, shoot. The cards just like went everywhere. I'm not even joking. Literally everywhere. Yeah, I remember some as well. That's why I just went through the timeline, because I knew it would eventually, like, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's what happened. So 400 people drank the Kool-Aid, and then Jim Jones was killed from a bullet wound to the head. Hey, Margie, how are you? And that to me is very questionable as to why he didn't drink the Kool-Aid as well. So let's see what we can get the tarot cards to tell us about possibly why Jim Jones, probably not. Probably. That's why I'm asking spirits to help with this to help us figure out or know why Jim Jones suffered a bullet wound to the head. Look at that first card to drop out. The King of Swords. First card that drops out is the King of Swords. This really needs to focus for me. There we go. First card, King of Swords. You think he was afraid of the pain of, could be because he knew what was in there, right? So many cards popping out. So we have 6 of Pentacles reversed, King of Swords, 8 of Pentacles reversed. So far we got materialistic things, money. Then we have the Devil reversed, breaking free. And then the King of Wands reversed. So a lot of king male energy. So he was definitely like the hierarchy of this congregation, right? He definitely had the king, quote unquote, vibe going on. So the King of Blade represents a powerful figure, right? So He was leading with his intellect. He's very intellectual, very knowledgeable, right? So that's what he was counting on when he was leading these people to their death, right? Was his charm, him being charismatic, him being intellectual and logical. Okay. So then you have the Six of Pentacles reversed. The flow was out of balance. The cash flow was out of balance. Okay, Eight of Pentacles reversed. He wasn't putting his energy was definitely in the wrong place. So his that explains, right? Remember how he got out of the housing authority, right? Like they dismissed him from the housing authority. Because this is the debt card. Six of Pentacles reverse is debt, okay? And debt. And then you got the Eight of Pentacles. Not seeing the results he was wanting. In debt, not seeing the results he was wanting. He was looking to get something more than just power of the mind, right? He was looking more than just getting power of the mind. Hi, Lori, how are you? Was that right? That's what I'm thinking, Nina. That's something he was looking more than just power, right? Because he knew that he could get power of the mind, but he wanted power of a lot more other things. Because the devil reversed is breaking free of chains, right? So you've got debt, um, him not, he was wasn't he was focused on too many things. He was focused on too many things. And then you got freeing the chains that bind, right? Breaking yourself free. King of Wands reversed. He lost sight of his own reality. He lost sight of reality. Out of everything that he was doing, he lost sight of what his main focus was. He lost sight, which explains, right? Which explains why he wanted more power than just the mind. Because maybe that's what he was originally going for, was just power of the mind, but he wanted to be in control of just power of the mind. Then we have the Four of Wands. Look at the imagery of this card, guys. The Four of Wands. Look at the imagery of this card. Very cultesque, right? Very cultesque. You got the Four of Wands, and then you have the Wheel. Four of Wands and the Wheel. Exactly, Kelly. He wanted total power over everything. Over everything. Not just the mind, everything. Then we have Justice. Look at the imagery, Justice, on this Justice card. And then we have the Page of Wands. All right, so let's discuss this row, put this row together. Four of Wands represents definitely manipulation, right? Manipulation, unrest, conflict. Manipulation, unrest, conflict. Manipulation, right? Makes sense with the imagery. Makes sense with the imagery. Manipulation. Then the Wheel represents where'd it go? The Wheel of Fortune usually represents good luck. Represents good luck. So he was having luck. He was having good luck with the manipulation of people. Okay. He was having good luck with the manipulation of people. Justice card. This is representing him using his moral compass, right? He was leading with his moral compass. Not and his moral compass wasn't always a good decision, right? Cuz he would go whichever way would benefit him the most. Go which way would benefit him the most. You believe he wanted to be I believe that as well, Kelly. I believe that as well. And money as he was given, he had real yeah. Which he did, right? He did, but it showed that he was in debt because he had too many things going on. He wasn't focused and put all energies into one thing. He had all of his investments scattered everywhere, right? So that caused him to go into debt. That caused him to go into debt. And then you have the Page of Wands. There was risks. He knew that there was risks. So you've got manipulation. He was very good with the manipulation of people because it's almost like, okay, so the way I'm putting this together is, from what I'm gathering, is he was able to prey on the weak-minded, correct? Like he was able to prey on the weak, and that's what he was good at finding was the weak people. He was good at finding the ones that he could control, being manipulative. He was good at doing that, and he knew he was good. Well, when he's in debt, what I mean is like it's not necessarily in debt as far as we would consider in debt now. We're in debt with lenders, right? He was in debt to someone else, right, of a higher power. So you wouldn't hear about him being in debt because think about it, remember? If you think about it, he was killed by a gunshot to the head, right? He was killed by a gunshot to the head. So that's what I mean by debt. He was in debt. He owed someone money, like up high. He owed someone money up high. Yeah, and they found just under $1 million at Jonestown after a tragedy, but he probably exactly, Autumn, exactly. And the Six of Cups reversed. He'd board his cash and owe just to have it. Yep. I completely agree. Yes, exactly, Nina. Exactly. So we got Six of Cup reversed. That one flew out when I was shuffling. Okay, this card. Ooh, we got the World. The World. And then we have Tower reversed. Yeah. Yep. Exactly, Autumn. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I'm following it. I got you. Six of Cups reversed. Caught up in the past. Okay, so he was caught up in the past. This is Judgment, not the World. My bad, y'all. So this is Judgment and not the World. And look at the Judgment here. Isn't this Judgment very cultist? Cultist. I don't even know if that's very cultist like, right? This Judgment card, this is Judgment card, not World, is very cultist to me. Like the imagery on these cards speak volumes to me. So he was hooked on the past. And he's reaping what he sows. And he's refusing to acknowledge the truth, which coincides with him and his moral compass, right? Coincides with him and being and going with the moral compass that suits him and benefits him to where he prospers, right? He went with wow, just false compassion and a performance from the yep. Mhm. I think he promised a lot of people different things and they invested in him and he could not give them what they wanted. He could not produce what he promised them, right? He was like, if you invest your money in me, I will have this done for you. And it never happened. And it never happened. Which is why he was a very good manipulator. He was a very good manipulator. He was good at what he did. He was very good at what he did. There's no doubt about it. But he owed people things. But who, right? Who did he owe? Because based off of this so far, whoever had the biggest to lose from Jim Jones would be the one that would have him shot in the head, right? Would be the one to have him shot in the head. So you have the Ace of Wands. And look at this. Look at the imagery. The Five of Wands. What amazes me is the amount of connectivity happened just during this decade. In the 70s. Yep, 70s to the 80s. Exactly. Exactly. A lot of manipulation. He had a lady in, this is a lot topic, but he had her spit up chicken parts while laying hands on her, feeling cancer. Ooh, God. Exactly. That would be his manipulation, right? That would him being a manipulator. That's what he was great at doing. That's what he was great at doing. Let's see. Let me close out of that real quick. He was very good at inspiring people. Like this reading is telling us a little bit about the type of person he is and what he was capable of, okay? Cuz he was definitely capable of inspiring people, right? Which is part of being a manipulator. And getting people to do what you want is you can just inspire them. It's like inspiring people to mass report, right? It's like inspiring people to mass report. This guy could get anybody to do anything as long as they were in a weak frame of mind, right? A weak mental. He could get them to do whatever they wanted to do. And then you have the Five of Wands, which is being manipulative in nature, right? A lot of manipulation. A lot of manipulation here. A lot of it there. People say when he first started, he was actually really caring and amazing, but his own self-seeking motives. Exactly. I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that because this is them fighting amongst themselves. These are his members. His members were fighting amongst themselves, right? As to who was the best one. They were all striving to be the closest to him. They were all striving to be the closest to him. Exactly. Like he was one of the best. Like I don't know what else to say. Like every card here just like represents who he was, and he was like a manipulator by nature. He just knew how to do it. Knew how to get people to do what he wanted to. But there was a price. And his price was that people noticed what he could do and they wanted in on it, and he made promises that he couldn't keep. So who are these people, right? That's the question. Who are these people that he got in with, right? Who are these people? Let's see if we can get who these people are. Who are these people that Jim Jones got in with? Okay, I'm seeing a family here. I'm seeing a family here. And the world is reversed. This is the closure card. Reversed is closure. Families did not get closure. Wow. A lot of families did not get closure. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm getting from this autumn. They did not get closure. Still don't have closure. Still don't have closure. Very interesting. So not only did he control their mental state, but he more than likely controlled every aspect of the people that was in his temple, right? Controlled them with their money. Oh, hey, we could use this. We could definitely use this. He controlled their property and money as well. He controlled everything about them, but that was not enough for him. He wanted more. He wanted more. I'm looking at what took him so far off this path. Yeah, pretty much this reading is like he ended up being obsessed with his own power. He wanted more. He was not satisfied with what he was achieving. So he wanted more. He wanted to expand who he could reach with his manipulation. He controlled exactly. Exactly. And he proved that when 400 of themselves drank the Kool-Aid and killed themselves, right? Because yeah, remember he started as a 22-year-old unordained minister, right? So he wasn't always a bad person. Wasn't always a bad person. He got caught up in power. When he went to be political, he got caught up in power. That's where all his mistakes ended up being. That's where all his trouble started. What was that? That flipped over. Look, envious gluttony. What I just say? Envious gluttony. Hi, Serenity. How are you? And we have parasite. Yep. So he was definitely, he lived. He was like a parasite, right? He was manipulating them. He was living off of them, off of everything that they did for him. He was like, what can you do for me? He was all a take. He was all a take. What can you do for me? It was a give. It wasn't, it was all give me, give me, give me, right? Definitely parasite relationship. And he was never satisfied. He was never satisfied. He always wanted more power. Always wanted more power. Okay, I'm going to shuffle these again because I want to know. I want to see what card pops out. I want to see. I really want to know. I really want to know. I'm trying to think of how I can word this question. How am I going to word this question? Okay. I think Autumn said he had a lady. He did have a lady friend. I think Autumn said that he did have a lady friend, and it's all good now, all good. Okay, was the person that he owed and was in debt for a person of political power, or was it just a person of faith power? Was it faith or was it political cards? Faith or political? What can you tell me? Faith. This is definitely a faith. Spiritual. The person that he owed the most to, which is why he was killed based off of the reading. Remember, guys, hang on, I have to put my banner up. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. This is all allegedly for entertainment purposes only. This was a spiritual person that he owed money to, which makes sense, right? Makes sense. Because with him being a a faith-giving man, a faith-bearing man, it makes sense that this is who he would owe the most to and be in debt the most to, as someone in faith. Because remember, all 400 of his disciples drank the Kool-Aid and killed themselves, but he died of a gunshot wound to the head. He died of a gunshot wound to the head. Let me go back to that one. Hang on. Okay, so in November 13, 1978, Ryan and his group visit Jonestown. They are entertained and invited to stay overnight. The next day, while waiting for transport out of the area with a number of members who asked for help in leaving Jonestown, Ryan and 4 others were slain, and a dozen others were injured in a barrage of gunfire, right? Where did this barrage of gunfire come from? Why is there this barrage of gunfire? Then a short time later, 400 People's Temple's members commit suicide by drinking a blend of soft drink and cyanide. But then Jones's body was found with a bullet wound in his head. So his death was very different from how his followers died, right? And it's like, why was that? Yeah, Nina, here's the answer to your question, Nina. I'm going to see if I can find, I think there is a picture. Hold on one second. I'm going to look up this picture real quick. Give me just a second. I'm going to look up this picture real quick. See if they have it. Yeah, I'm going to put a picture of him up here. Give me just a second, y'all. Where's his? There is his picture. I will share his picture. They started collecting the guns to protect from guerrillas he claimed were in the area, but wasn't his real motive. I believe that, Autumn, right? I believe that. Okay, so let me share this so I can show you guys the picture of Jim Jones. Jones ordered the hit on the congressman for fear of what he thought something would be bad. Yeah, that's right. Nat knows about this too. Autumn and Nat are the peeps that know a lot about this. Okay, so here is a picture of Jim Jones. I mean, I don't know about you guys, and I know that this was in the 70s. Like, I don't know about this, but I mean, just look at him. Like, he is really intimidating, you guys. Like he's very intimidating when I just look at this picture. Very intimidating to me. He did, and he knew dude was going to go back and report. Yeah. Yep. His envious gluttony, right? He was never satisfied. He needed to always have more and more and more. I don't know. This guy just gives me the creeps. Yeah, he almost reminds me of, he almost just with his looks too, he almost reminds me of a movie star back then, right? He look his just the way his facial features are. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy, but just based off of just what he looks like in this photo, like it's just creepy to me. It's creepy vibes to me. You were in ninth grade. Let's see, when was it that he died? Hang on, let me go back to the timeline. Did I have it? No, I didn't save it. Dang it. Well, I wasn't born till 79. I was not born till 1979. This is him in 1978, shortly before the mass suicide, and was found dead of a gunshot wound to the head, surrounded by hundreds of his followers. So there is a documentary called Jonestown: The Life and Death of People's Temple that tells the story of the San Francisco-based cult. Very interesting. The film includes interviews with former members of the People's Temple and relatives of the group's leaders. Oh my, this card, y'all, remember this card? The film includes interviews with former members of the People's Temples. And then, like, we got the closure card too. Remember, we got the closure card. Where was that? That was in here. Closure. And relatives of the group's leaders. One of the most disturbing parts of the film features interviews with childhood friends of Jones. Interesting. I did not know that there was a documentary. Did you guys know that? Hey, Green Eyes, how are you? Yep, families did not get closure. And it was definitely someone in faith and not political that allegedly for entertainment purposes only, that played a huge part into how he died from the bullet wound to the head. You have a playlist of over 100 documentaries and other things. Do you? You remember this as a child? I didn't understand. Me either. Same, Broom. Like, I remember hearing about it growing up, right? Everybody's all like, "Oh, y'all drinking the Kool-Aid," and I never knew what they were referring to until I got older. So yeah, I'm with you. I definitely remember that. You have seen the documentary years ago? Okay, so it's like not a new documentary then. I need to watch it. I absolutely need to watch it. So yeah, definitely not go through and look at this reading because you'll definitely see what I'm talking about in this reading. Um, he definitely was one of a kind person that preyed on the weak-minded, and he knew how to do that. He just knew how to spot the weak-minded people, and he was great at being a manipulator. He was great at what he did, but he wasn't satisfied with that. Definitely was not satisfied. He wanted more. It's being power hungry. Being absolutely power hungry. All right, y'all. Oh, we need to take down. Okay, who do we want on the poll for next week? I was thinking, hang on, I gotta go back and look at some other ones. We did Jim Jones. Let's see. Where's some other ones? Let's see. Okay, you guys. What do you guys want to see the next one on? What do you guys want to see? Oh, I'm gonna add one. I'm gonna add. Here's who I want to see. I want to add. Oh, what was her name? Christina something. Hang on, I gotta look at her name real quick. Oh, Finding Christina. I can't think of her last name. What was her name? No. It was on Relentless. That's what it is. The show Relentless. She was on the show. Have you guys seen the show Relentless, the documentary about Christina? Why can't I think of her name? I have like a brain fart now. Oh, what was it? Christina. Here it is. Christina. Hang on, guys. Bear with me a second. I'm looking for something. Christina. Yeah, but wow, what was her name? Why can't I think? Do you guys know who I'm talking about? I cannot think of her name to save my life. I have not. I have not. Let me do Richard Ramirez. Let me add Richard Ramirez. Okay, I'll do Christina. I'm gonna do Christina because I don't know who I'm talking about. Okay, we'll add Richard Ramirez. Yeah, Autumn. It's from the documentary series on Discovery Plus, and it's called Relentless. And I cannot think of her name. And it's funny because it was in Missouri, and I lived in Missouri. I literally lived a couple hours away from where she disappeared. Okay, I got that. Richard Ramirez. Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Oh, what was her name? Dang it, I'm hitting all these buttons. Here, let me see. Yeah, Christina Whitaker. That's who it is. Christina Whitaker. And I watched that series. And to this day, it's been over 10 years. And nobody knows where she's at still. Yeah, nobody knows where she's at still. Christina Whitaker. And there's been so many theories onto what happened with her. Okay, so Christina Whitaker, Richard Ramirez. Who else would you guys like to see a reading on? It can be old, it can be new. I need 2 more. Yeah, Nina, the Christina Whitaker case happened in Herman, Missouri. You know where that's at, right? I was only like a couple hours away from Herman, Missouri. Let's see. Let me look at who we've had in the past too. That did not get picked. Oh, should we do Prince? Let's add Prince. I'm gonna add Prince and Kurt Cobain. Prince and Kurt Cobain. Okay, that'll be the 4 for the next poll for next week. That will be the 4. Oh, Betty White. Well, I'll definitely add her for next time. I will definitely add Miss Betty White for next time. Writing her down right now. And I'm writing down Ted Bundy too for next time. You live 60 miles north of Columbia? Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the reading and got some information from it, because I know I sure got a little more of a better perspective on his mind a little bit, and as to maybe who he possibly allegedly for entertainment purposes only could have been in bed with, as far as politicians, which we all know politicians, but it was definitely somebody in the church field and faith dealing with spirituality, so which I can go many ways, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys for absolutely being here and showing up for my true crime and tarot readings. I love it when you guys are here. So I will definitely be doing more. I'm doing a post and one more post lunar eclipse energy reading tomorrow. So for those of you that have missed that missed their reading on Monday, and then I get one on Monday, you can come back on Friday, and I will definitely give you guys another reading. On free? I am done currently, but like I said, I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow I will be doing free readings. I will be doing free readings. So join me tomorrow. It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern time, and I will be doing more post lunar eclipse energy readings for those that missed it on Monday. So thank you all for coming out. I appreciate y'all so much. Like I said, without you guys, I wouldn't have a channel, and I love you all for it. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.